Hi, I'm Emily.
Hi, I'm Fiona.
Hi, I'm Phoebe.
Today we are going to discuss 9 vocabulary terms that relate to power and sovereignty on an international and national level of analysis, incorporating challenges and concepts that are present in our society today.
The two key terms that we have chosen are power and sovereignty.
The two levels of analysis we chose were international and national. The international level is when events and trends have a narrower impact than a global scale, but still have implications for several countries. And then national is related to events that have an impact limited to the particular geographic boundaries of a country.
We chose these two levels of analysis because we believe that our 9 terms relate most closely to these larger scale levels.
Let's start with hard power. Hard power is achieving aims through force. Next, we have soft power. Soft power is achieving aims through persuasion or influence. Lastly, we have smart power. Smart power is achieving aims through force, persuasion, and influence.
The consequences of conflicts involving the overuse of power can lead a person or place to become corrupted. Corruption, one of our vocabulary terms, is the dishonest, illegal, or immoral behavior, especially with someone with power. Terrorists are people who use violence such as bombing or shooting to obtain political demands. These people use hard power to create chaos and conflict, making them sovereign. When a person is involved in a conflict tactically, they are related to smaller scale actions that they do to achieve what you want, especially in a game or a large plan. A powerful and sovereign person will act tactically in order to gain control and influence over others.
Material means relating to money, possessions, and living conditions, rather than the needs of your mind or soul. States with a high level of power and sovereignty have the ability to have wealthy material possessions, rather than ones who are poorer. Sanctions are official orders or laws stopping trade or communication with another state as a way of forcing its leaders to make political change. The U.S. is demonstrating power by having control over communication with another country, and sovereignty because the U.S. doesn't need approval from another country to put these sanctions into place. Fragile means weak or uncertain and likely to become worse under pressure. This can relate to countries with little power or sovereignty because this causes them to be fragile and easy to be taken over by ones with much more power. An example of current sanctions are between the U.S. and Russia. The U.S. is targeting Russia's intelligence, energy, defense, mining, and railway industries. This is an example of an international level because it is an event that involves more than one country.
An example of smart power is the poisoning of Sergei and Yulia Skripal in 2018 by using information from the past about Skripal and how he was a former general of Russian military intelligence who had been convicted in Russia for spying for the UK as one of the influences on the authorities. An example of hard power is how U.S. threatens International Criminal Court. Trump uses threats and involve U.S. even though it's very dangerous. An example of soft power would be the U.S. agreement with India to boost arms sales. They used economic reasoning and persuasion of trades for their way of power.
A national example of corruption is in the Philippines. They have the very rough political corruption issue worldwide because of its extensive bribery within the public administration, and vague and complex laws make foreign companies vulnerable to extortion and manipulation by public officials, which is unfair.
Qatar became an independent state in 1971 after gaining its sovereignty from the United Kingdom, which is why it falls under the national level of analysis. An example of a country capable of possessing many materials is Qatar, which is defined as the richest country in the world, $124,930 per person. An example of a fragile country is Syria because of the concerns with population, refugees, violence within the state, political corruption, and more.
An international example is the tactics that were presented in this year's World Cup. The arrangements between President Putin in Germany and other countries such as Italy and the Netherlands caused crises because of the tactics that were being used during the soccer games. A national example would be Iran, as the leading state sponsor of terrorism with a near global reach and accusing it of sending suspected operatives to the United States. Hard, soft, and smart power relate to the global conflict of identity because hard, soft, and smart power are ways one can identify themselves because power has the ability to become a characteristic in someone's life. Corruption, terrorists, and tactically relate to security because with a lack of security, corruption and terrorists emerge into our world. People that enforce security are being tactical in order to prevent the chaos that corruption and terrorists bring. Finally, sanction, fragile, and material relate to the global concept of environment because sanctions affect the environment by forcing political change. An environment can identify as fragile or materialistic, demonstrating weaker environments or environments that are very focused on money.